Hi, welcome to Starz Recapped. Today I'm going to explain an American animated coming-of-age comedy family movie called Inside Out 2, which was released in the year 2024, directed by Kelsey Mann. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. On an ice hockey court, young Riley is preparing for a big game. Joining her are her loving parents and her primary emotions: joy, sadness, fear, anger, and disgust, which control everything in the control room of her mind. The match finally begins, and Riley has already mastered the ice hockey puck. With the help of anger, the girl intensifies her will to win and dribbles past all the players on the opposing team. Thanks to this, she goes free to the goalkeeper and manages to score the first point of the match. Shortly afterward, however, she tries to mark one of the rival players but commits a serious foul and has to sit out the game for a few minutes. While she waits to return, Joy looks back on Riley's growth. Now 13, the young girl has become a loving daughter, a dedicated student, and a faithful companion to her new friends, Bree and Grace. Minutes later, Riley returns to the game, which is tied. She approaches the opponent's goal, only for one of the players to make a tight save. Nevertheless, with great skill and the help of Joy, she passes the puck to her teammate, who scores the winning point. Thanks to this great game, Riley and her friends impress a professional ice hockey coach. She invites them to a hockey camp, where they will have the chance to play for professional teams. Later, Riley and her parents celebrate the game, but the girl feels insecure because of the foul she caused. So, Joy decides to activate her newest machine, a sucker, capable of sending uncomfortable memories to the farthest reaches of her mind. With this new equipment, Riley will be able to focus only on the game and the good memories while keeping intrusive thoughts out of her head. Afterward, Joy takes sadness to a new place, the system of convictions. There, the two find a huge fountain made up of threads of light that make up what they call their sense of self. In other words, Riley's essence. Finally, the emotions go to rest after a long day's work. However, everyone is woken up by a new alarm on the control panel called puberty. The emotions are frightened by this, and Joy throws the alarm through the sucker. Only minutes later, several operators appear and start destroying the entire control room. They say they need to expand the place to house new emotions and even make changes to the command center. However, before they can finish the job, lunchtime arrives, and they leave the room a mess. Just then, Riley's mother wakes her up so they can go camping. However, she notices that the girl is different, more impatient and annoyed by everything. The mother soon realizes that her daughter is going through a phase of change, the dreaded puberty. Riley's emotions try to get around this, but they realize that the buttons on the control panel are more sensitive to touch, which makes the girl react more intensely. Hours later, when everyone is getting ready for the trip, Riley talks to Bree and Grace about the chance to be trained by the professional coach. However, her friends confess that they are moving schools and that this will be their last weekend together. The girl is saddened by this, but before she can think any more about it, everyone arrives at the camp. While her friends are waiting for her, Riley bumps into a high school girl called Valentina, the captain of the ice hockey team. She's excited to meet her, and her emotions try to cope, but everything they do leads the girl to act strangely. At that moment, the control panel turns all orange, and a new emotion appears: anxiety. Although hysterical and very paranoid, anxiety is also there to help Riley in this new phase of life. Along with her, 3 more new emotions appear: envy, in the form of a little girl; embarrassment, as a strong but very shy guy; and ennui, a rebellious teenager who controls everything with her cell phone. Although the new emotions are friendly, joy and anxiety disagree on how to help Riley. One thinks about the here and now, while the new emotion worries about the future and sets up scenarios in which everything can go right or very wrong. While the two try to come to an agreement, Riley goes to the women's locker room, where she finds Bree and Grace. Seconds later, the coach shows up to start some heavy training. Anxiety and embarrassment try to make Riley act prudently, but Joy wants the girl to enjoy her last weekend with her friends. Unfortunately, the coach doesn't approve of the girl's cheerful and immature attitude and forces her and the others to train hard. During training on the court, the older girls talk badly about Riley. Seeing this, anxiety takes over and makes the girl apologize to Valentina, who, in return, helps her get along with the team. Minutes later, the coach starts another training session, this time dividing the class into 2 teams. Bree and Grace go one way, and Riley is in doubt whether to go with them or follow Valentina. Joy wants the girl to be faithful to her friends and chooses to join their team. However, without a second thought, anxiety removes Riley's sense of self and throws it down the drain because she wants the best for her future. To make matters worse, she says that the primary emotions can no longer fulfill the girl's wishes and tells embarrassment to take them all away, with the way cleared to do whatever she wants. Anxiety places one of her memories at the center of conviction so that, from that day on, it will be Riley's primary emotion. Meanwhile, the primary emotions are put into a jar and taken to Riley's vault of secrets. There, they are trapped in a dark vault where they meet two characters the girl secretly likes, the dog Bluff and his magic fanny pack, and the video game warrior Lance. In addition to them, the girl's darkest secret is also hidden in the safe, which is in the form of a huge hooded monster. The dark secret manages to release the emotions from the pot, and soon afterward, Bluff summons dynamite from his fanny pack and frees everyone from the vault. However, the dark secret decides to stay because it can't be revealed yet. At that moment, the bank guards realize the escape attempt and set out to arrest everyone. Warrior Lance decides to protect them in return for being freed. He uses his special rolling technique, but the guards easily dodge him. Fortunately, Lance hits a bucket with a squeegee which hits one of the guards, and he accidentally opens one of the safes. His colleagues try to help him, but they get into even more trouble, and the Jumbo Men accidentally get stuck in the safe. After that, Joy and the primary emotions flee, but Riley's mind police continue to pursue them. The group then heads to the far side of Riley's mind, as they need to recover the young woman's sense of self and put it back in the control room. The next morning, Anxiety is in control of Riley's mind and makes her wake up very early to train. Valentina arrives soon after, and Envy helps the girl socialize by asking her questions about her life. Minutes later, the whole team arrives, including Bree and Grace, but Riley doesn't pay them much mind. At the same time, in the mind, Joy and her friends reach the River of Consciousness, a course that can take them to their destination. However, Sadness reminds everyone that they can only take Riley's sense of self if there is someone in charge to pull her through the sucker. So, Joy tells her to go there through a tube while the others go the other way. Later, Anxiety is in full control of Riley's life and creates various memories, which are carried over to the belief system. Thanks to this, a new sense of self, taken over by the new emotions, is generated in the girl's mind. Despite this, Riley does very well at sports and makes new friends with Valentina and her colleagues. At the end of the day, they all spend time together. Just then, one of the girls asks what kind of music Riley likes, but neither Anxiety nor Envy know the answer, as they've only been in her mind for a short time. So, the two trigger the tunnel to collect old memories. Just as Sadness is climbing, she ends up being sucked into the control room with the memories, but fortunately, they all cover Sadness, who goes unnoticed by the new emotions. After a lot of searching through their memories, Anxiety and Envy find a band that Riley has liked since childhood. However, the older girls find this band too childish, and so for the first time in her life, the girl gives a sarcastic response. This new feeling wreaks havoc in the world of the mind. Just as Joy and her friends were about to cross the lake, a huge crater appears in front of them, and the four of them have to jump back to dry land before they fall over a huge cliff. Rescued from danger, the primary emotions try to enlist the help of two operators on the other side of the crater to pull them out with their crane. Unfortunately, they both refuse to offer their help. If that wasn't bad enough, in the outside world, Bree and Grace overhear the conversation and say that Riley has always liked the band she's making fun of. However, in order not to tarnish her reputation with the girls on the team, she continues to fake her sarcasm, which opens up more craters in her mental world. Hurt, her two friends leave. Back in Riley's mind, the primary emotions continue to search for a way to cover the girl's sense of self. They reach the long-term memories, but the place is a real labyrinth. Joy then tries to use one of the elevators to locate herself and find the right path. The problem is that she can't control the elevator, and this causes disgust, anger, and fear to start complaining a lot about everything that has happened and blame Joy for it. On hearing her friend's accusations, Joy loses her temper and lets out all the frustration she feels at not being able to help Riley at the moment. Soon afterward, Joy breaks down in tears as she realizes that she may have lost her important function. Seeing that Riley's strongest emotion has vented, her friends decide to support her. Anger then takes over the memory vacuum from two workers who were nearby and activates the reverse command. Thanks to this, the emotions hold on to the vacuum cleaner, which pushes them to the top of the Great Labyrinth. Now, with a better view of where the back of the mind is, Joy and her friends follow the path to recover Riley's sense of self. Meanwhile, in the control room, Anxiety and Envy are preparing for the big game the next day. If all goes well, Riley will finally make the professional team. The two work on the control panel, while Embarrassment notices a strange presence in the room. After some searching, he finds Sadness, who is looking through the girl's mind manuals to find out what to do. When she realizes she has been discovered, she asks Embarrassment not to reveal her presence. To her surprise, the big man not only keeps it a secret but brings in more manuals to help Sadness and keep her hidden far away. Joy finds Imaginal Land, the place where all of Riley's creative thoughts are created. However, everything is very different, including the pillow fort, which has turned more orange than usual. Upon investigating the place further, the group realizes that anxiety is using the place of imagination to create pessimistic scenarios in Riley's mind. Their aim is to make the girl increasingly worried about what might happen so that she can give her all in the game. However, this makes Riley more nervous, and she can't sleep. To stop this, Joy takes advantage of the fact that one of the workers has left his desk and draws several pictures with positive mental images. Disgust, anger, and fear do the same, and because of this, the girl has more optimistic views of tomorrow's game. However, anxiety soon realizes that something is wrong and deduces that Joy is behind it. The emotion orders the mind police to capture the invaders, but Joy is undeterred and convinces everyone that negative thoughts only affect Riley. She also says that the girl needs to be optimistic so that she can achieve her dreams without having to feel bad about it. Convinced by Joy's words, the designers decide to create various optimistic projections of the future and turn the place into a mess. Anxiety is furious, but Riley finally manages to sleep peacefully. However, the mental police finally arrive, and Joy has to flee with her friends. When they arrive at the Future Careers Parade, the group sees several balloons showing the professions Riley wants to follow. They cling to the Supreme Court judge and manage to escape through the air. Meanwhile, anxiety despairs because she believes that without the negative projections, the girl won't make the effort to win the game. Then she and Andy remember the team coach notebook, which is locked in his office. Even though she knows that she is doing a serious offense, her emotions force Riley to go there. So that she knows what needs to be done to please the coach. Unable to believe what is happening, Sadness tries to stop the new emotion from going ahead to their plan. While she is thinking about what to do, she realized that Anwi fallen asleep and drop her phone. Sadness catches it, and use apps to control the panel, and made the girl regret what she is doing. However, anxiety realizes what had happened, and finds Sadness hiding under the bed sheet. Riley then looks in the notebook and discovers that the coach still doesn't consider her ready to play professionally. Desperate, anxiety orders ideas to be sent to her so that she can come up with a plan to change this. Suddenly, a shower of ideas pours into Riley's mind, just as Joy and her friends take flight in the balloon. The situation only gets worse when the rain turns into a huge hurricane of ideas, and the primary emotions are sucked into it. Joy sees that the ideas are very bad and tries to destroy them, but there is no way to stop them all, and they have to flee the hurricane. Seconds later, a big idea the color of anxiety forms, but Joy holds it back to prevent it from reaching the girl's mind. However, if she doesn't let go, everyone will be sucked into the eye of the hurricane. With no other choice, Joy lets the great idea go to the control room, while she and her friends fall to the ground. At the last minute, Fear reveals that he has a parachute in his clothes and manages to save everyone. After that, the great idea comes to Anxiety, who immediately puts it on the control panel. As a result, the next morning, Riley wakes up determined to get a place on the team by any means. She takes a stimulant, dyes her hair red to look like Valentina, and tries to impress the girls on the team while being ignored by Bree and Grace. Meanwhile, Joy and the others finally get to the bottom of the young woman's mind and find her sense of self. However, this essence is gradually being erased because Anxiety has just created a new sense of self. Unfortunately for her, the new sense of self created by Anxiety is that Riley doesn't think she's good enough. This wasn't the result Anxiety was hoping for, so she tries to fiddle with the controls to resolve the situation. Just then, Sadness, who had been left stranded, asks Embarrassment for help. He realizes that Anxiety has made a mistake and distracts her while Sadness approaches the panel. She then activates the sucker to absorb back the sense of self that Joy had recovered, but Anxiety realizes everything and destroys the sucker completely. Now, with no chance of getting her sense of self back, Joy loses hope, realizing that she is no longer Riley's main emotion and gives up on everything. Shortly afterwards, the big ice hockey match is about to start, and Anxiety wants the girl to score 3 goals in the match anyway. That way, she'll beat Valentina's record and will surely be called up to the professional team. Finally, the contest begins, and Riley gets the puck right away. However, instead of passing it to her teammate who was free from the mark, she made a one-on-one move and scored the first point. Back in the girl's mind, Joy is still sad, but her friends help her understand that even if they are no longer important, they still need to keep Riley's essence intact. Then, Anger comes up with the idea of summoning Pluff, the dog's magic fanny pack. Luckily, she soon appears and everyone asks for something inside her to help them get to the command room. However, the fanny pack only has dynamite in it. But Joy has an idea. Destroy the base that keeps the memories in the back of the mind and send them back. With no time to lose, the primary emotions explode the dynamite, destroy the stone base, and are carried away along with the bad memories by Riley's mental world. Meanwhile, the girl becomes more and more obsessed with winning because of her anxiety. Not satisfied, she tries to score another point to get the record, but she doesn't hit any. This makes her so angry that she sets off towards the opponent's goal without realizing that her friend Grace was in the way. The two collide hard, and Grace is injured because of this foul. Riley is sent off for 2 minutes. Faced with this failure, anxiety loses control of the situation. At the same time, Joy is carried away with the bad memories by the crater of sarcasm and falls into the sea at the bottom of it. Fortunately, she and her friends manage to submerge, and the water leads them to the conviction system. They quickly try to climb up to the control room, while anxiety starts fiddling with the controls non-stop. The tantrum emotion is out of control and creates a hurricane in the middle of the control panel, which frightens the other emotions. Embarrassment realizes that they have to stop this, and with the help of the others, tries to remove the sense of self created by anxiety. However, the sense of self cannot be removed while the panel is in use. Meanwhile, Riley begins to feel increasingly nervous with palpitations in her chest and rapid breathing. Just then, joy and the primary emotions finally arrive in the control room. Disgust, fear, and anger help the others to remove the sense of self, while Joy goes to anxiety and asks it to stop. Sad at having failed in her mission, anxiety lets go of the command center, and Joy pulls her out of the hurricane. Thanks to this, everyone manages to remove the sense of self and put Riley's original in place. However, this still isn't enough to make the girl feel better. At this point, anxiety apologizes for her actions and realizes that none of her emotions can change who Riley really is. Joy then realizes that, from the beginning, she was doing the same thing as anxiety, trying to change Riley by leaving the good memories and separating the bad ones to the more hidden side of her mind. Fortunately, they all ended up inside the system of convictions and began to create new threads, which make up a new sense of self. However, for this to be completed, Joy needs to remove the previous one. She does this, and a new sense of self made up of all the emotions Riley has ever felt, good or bad, is formed. Eventually, all the emotions understand that the girl's true essence is that she, with her faults and virtues, needs help. Then, all her emotions accept this new sense of self and come together in a strong embrace around it. Thanks to this, the girl finally calms down, just as Bree and Grace realize that their friend is not well and approach her. Riley apologizes to both of them for the way she treated them, and the three of them finally resume their friendship. Grace and Bree then invite their friend back to the game, and Riley accepts, willing to be a better person. Joy then has its essence called into the control panel. This means that, of all the emotions at that moment, it is the most important to command Riley's mind. Happy with this, Joy goes to the panel and helps the girl play, not just to win, but mainly because she is happy to enjoy the moment, doing what she loves with the people she loves so much. The next day, Riley, Valentina, and her classmates await the coach's decision on the girl's future. Although this makes anyone's emotions run high, in Riley's case, her emotions have learned to work as a team because the most important thing is to look after the girl. Finally, after a warm message from Bree and Grace and a lot of waiting, Riley finally receives the coach's reply on her cell phone, which leaves her with a smile on her face. Later, in the mind, Joy goes to the Vault of Secrets to discover the mystery that the dark secret held. He then reveals that Riley burned the living room carpet and made a huge hole in it. Joy is relieved by this, as she thought the big secret was an embarrassing situation that happened one day at the pool. This only makes the dark secret even more ashamed, and he hides in the safe again so as not to reveal anything more. That's my explanation for the movie, Inside Out 2. So, what do you guys think about the movie? Write in the comment, turn on the notification and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.